Everyone, welcome to our Thursday cultural event. Today we will be talking about community service. My name is Raul, and we have a special guest today. We have the Positive Community Kitchen, and they're a local agency here in Eugene. And I will be your host today, as well as Josie, one of our other counselors. So I'll let Josie introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. A lot of you know me by now, but I'm Josie. I'm one of the lead staff for this year. I do apologize in advance that my camera's off. I've been having some connection issues, but I'm hoping that this will help. But yeah, we have two wonderful presenters from the Positive Community Kitchen here with us today to give a presentation on who they are and what they do, as well as a cooking demonstration. So I will go ahead and hand it over to them so they can introduce themselves and get the show started.
Very good. Thank you, Josie. My name is Megan Richter. I am the executive director at Positive Community Kitchen, and I have a much older form of technology, so my green screen can't turn off, so I have no teeth today for you. But I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for having us today, and let you know too that maybe Raul, this might be on a technical note, is that we've invited all of our PCK chefs to speak as part of our presentation. So they may unmute themselves. I don't know if they can or if you have to do that, but maybe if it's your turn to speak, go ahead and raise your hand so he knows. That might help identify you, the PCK turn at that time. So generally, I guess what we get to do as an organization is we get to inspire community wellness through food. We deliver free homemade meals to anyone and their family who is experiencing a health crisis. And our goal is to make one piece of their healing experience simple, to nourish the folks from inside out by alleviating the stress of planning, shopping for, and creating the food that a body needs to recover. Most of the households that we serve are households of one, meaning that this person that we are delivering meals to lives by themselves, has received a life-threatening diagnosis, and is taking care of themselves alone. We've had this program in our community for about 7 years, and recently we were made aware of a study about loneliness by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that reports that loneliness is more dangerous than obesity and is as damaging to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Because we've been serving our community in this way for about 7 years, we absolutely recognize that what we do is delivering more than a meal. We're delivering human connection that is genuine and is an act of love and service to each person that we get to meet. It's a critical piece of developing the world that we hope to live in, a happy place for our future, the world that we are proud of. So today I'm joined by an incredible crew of teen chefs who have been volunteering in our kitchen, many for over the required period of time, which is 12 weeks. We ask for that commitment. And so I'll allow them to introduce themselves and their role within this presentation, where we plan to share with you a little bit about our actual program, one of our favorite recipes, and then we're going to complete hopefully early enough to have some question and answers at the end. But I do encourage you, because we are an education organization, we are used to being interrupted all the time with questions, and we absolutely encourage you to pipe up as we keep going. So please fill the chat and keep us rolling with your curiosities. I would also like to side note here, for those of you trying to figure out your major, my degree is in health and exercise science, and that curiosity about science and exploring our world has landed me in this role here at Positive Community Kitchen. So please reach out if you ever have questions about that. Without further ado, I'm gonna hand over to Serena to tell us a little bit more about PCK history.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Serena. I am a student here in Eugene at Sheldon High School, and I am a teen representative on PCK's board of directors. And I'm going to go through a brief history of our organization. So in 2011, some well-known kids from South Eugene High School unfortunately died at the coast on a retreat. And this really shook up our community. A lot of people were grieving because these kids were really well known throughout their schools and throughout our local community. And so the first ever garden was created. So this garden was a place for people to heal and to have a sense of community with others where they were feeling the same things as some of the people that would show up. And it was just a place for people to recover and heal through their grieving process. And then we had 2 years later in 2013, our organization as it is today was born. It's inspired from an idea down in Ceres, California. And our organization now is a kitchen where we create healthy meals for patients and our clients that are often patients suffering from illnesses that are very life-threatening. So when we first begun with our kitchen in 2013, we only had 10 clients, and we'd serve them every week with healthy meals. We'd give them salads and 2 entrees, and we'll get more details on what we serve them a little bit later on. And now, 7 years later, in 2020, we're serving 100 people a week. And we have a big part of our organization is the teens that come in. And every 12 weeks, we ask teens to sign up to commit to a term of coming in once or twice a week to prepare meals and get them ready to ship out to our clients. And as a part of our 12-week process, we're focusing on our cyclical growth, and we're always trying to improve and expand our program. So we take this time to reflect on what we've done that's been beneficial to our program and how we can keep that momentum going to improve our service to our clients. And now we have teens involved every week. Even despite our pandemic we were in for a couple weeks, we were doing frozen meals only, and just a few adults would go in. But now we're back to our teens being in the kitchen, and it's great to see everyone back there. And I think that's our brief history, and I'll throw it back to Megan.
Well done, well done. I think we had Anna join us here. Anna, can you tell us a little bit about your role and what you do when you're volunteering? And maybe a little bit about our menu if you're still here.
Yeah.
All right.
So my name is Anna. I go to South Eugene High School, and I'm one of the teen culinary leadership advisors for PCK. Each week, PCK prepares 2 entrees, a salad, and a dessert for each client. The entire menu is super nutrient dense and organic meals that are meant to support and help someone's immune system when they're sick. Everything, like I said, is organic, as well as gluten-free, seasonal products, and free of refined sugar, but it's all super delicious. And as teen volunteers in the kitchen, our role is to help prepare all of this food. We help with making these meals by cooking, chopping, packaging up food, as well as cleaning after. While volunteering, you'll do many different things, ranging from cooking a soup to chopping broccoli, sorting through blueberries, or tons of other fun cooking activities. So as Serena said, we have people in the kitchen Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays, we mostly focus on making the soups and the dessert. And then on Tuesdays, the rest of the meals are put together and everything is packaged up for our clients and to be delivered to our clients. And so as a teen volunteer, we're all super involved in actually getting to make the food and being part of this process, which is really fun. And you often get to try a lot of the food, which is also really great. And by getting to make these foods, you have a lot of fun being involved, but it's also a really good educational experience because you learn a lot of different recipes or cooking techniques that you can then use at home.
Thanks, Anna. Does anybody have any questions so far? Please keep filling up those chat. Thanks, Aiden, for addressing some of those early ones. Let's see if we got Erin in the house. Erin, Tell us what things, what are you getting out of technology or out of volunteering? What have you learned so far being part of PCK? Maybe we don't have Aaron in the house. We can bypass that and talk to Aiden. Aiden, who are we serving? And tell us about your experience at PCK.
Yeah, so I'm Aiden, and we serve people with life-threatening illnesses like cancer or former like stroke victims, people with leukemia, and oftentimes these people can't necessarily cook for themselves and or don't know how or have other time constraints and need to take care of their family, whatever that may be. And these meals that we serve to them, it could last, some of them last these our clients a week, other times last a couple days or even a day, but these meals are like curated and with a lot of love, and they have exceptional ingredients. Our clients are like rave about our food and wish they could keep getting it even after they go through whatever hardship they have gone through. And personally for me, I feel a tremendous amount of pride cooking these meals for the clients, knowing it helps them. It truly does help their health and their recovery process. And when I step in the kitchen, I feel love towards myself just being in the kitchen. It's a really positive environment. It's in the name, and we're just incredibly open to anyone coming in the door as long as there's an open spot. And the kitchen just is incredibly welcoming and an amazing place to be weekly.
Thanks, Aiden. Yeah, I think it's important to note that our program, the food that we deliver is free to anybody that needs it, that's experiencing stress due to their health. So that could be someone who's recently been diagnosed with something like cancer and their family, or maybe just their family because maybe they're not able to eat at this time, but to help them recover, having food for their family would be a really beneficial support. So, so that's something that's pretty new to us. And I think we initially started serving folks that were experiencing cancer only. That has expanded and is much more broad today to include nearly every condition, which one would have that would be a temporary need. So thank you, Aiden, for sharing that. I imagine some folks are interested in maybe volunteering here, maybe volunteering somewhere else. And I'm wondering if Andre can share with us who should volunteer at PCK and what really makes a top-notch volunteer to have on our team here.
Yeah, no problem. So to me, the first thing I want to highlight is just that anybody has the potential to be a good volunteer. It's not just one type of person. But I think one of the most important things is just bringing that positive energy. You know, like we call ourselves Positive Community Kitchen for a reason, because it's about like doing good for others and making everybody who's present feel really good. So if you can bring positive energy, that's definitely a great thing. Also, just another quality would be people who are able to like be on time and able to be organized, because what we do is, you know, really important to the people that we're serving. Like we're doing something that is going to really impact their quality of life, and it's really important that our volunteers are able to make it on time and are able to like coordinate things responsibly. And another thing that I think is really important is just somebody who likes to volunteer and likes to help other people just out of the kindness of their heart, because it's really important that we have people who aren't just like volunteering for the way it looks, but volunteering for the way it makes them feel and how it makes others feel. Because it becomes like a really fun and wonderful experience once you realize that you're doing something that helps somebody else, and in turn it just makes you get that great warm and fuzzy feeling inside. And I mean, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I think that would be volunteering would be really good for you.
I'm curious, of the PCK teens that are here, raise your hand if you started to volunteer because you were told to, not because you wanted to. Yeah, I think there's a lot of folks that kind of find themselves in this pickle, like I'm gonna volunteer and I might not be there at first with a really positive attitude or on my own free will to some extent if you're trying to catch all your volunteer hours or whatever the case may be. And so I think that that's important to know too, that I think what we've recognized is that this atmosphere that we try to cultivate is contagious, and that people do have good and bad days and anything in between. But we recognize that the folks that we're serving are a very vulnerable population in terms of their health, and to keep them safe and to keep our team organized, we rely on high school students to make that happen. And our secret ingredient is certainly trying to encourage a terrific atmosphere that people can thrive in, despite coming in not knowing what's going on or what you're going to be doing that day, is pretty neat. So so we are, according to my calculations, I think we might be at our 10 minutes here, but I just want to take a moment to note that if you're interested in getting involved and coming into our kitchen, right now, because of the COVID situation, we are still accepting new volunteers, but we have postponed our drop-in hours, which were usually like our pride and joy. We miss drop-in hours. So in any case, if you would like to volunteer, a great place to start is our website. Go ahead and fill out that step 1 on our of our volunteer application, and we'll return your call and find a good place for you to fit into our team. So there's all kinds of opportunities. Teen Chef is cooking weekly with us. Delivery Angels are adults that are driving. So if you're 18 or older, you can drive and deliver food all over the community. And then in addition to that, there's internship opportunities throughout the year, and of course these leadership positions, which are impacting the way that our organization is continuing to grow. Very, very fun. So way too much to share on all those details, but I think it looks like we've had a few questions answered, just so that you know, if you've got middle school, maybe you've got middle school siblings or you're babysitting middle schoolers, you can bring them into the kitchen. But they need to be supervised. But most of our volunteers are high school students and older, and much older even. Like we pride ourselves in kind of mixing generations in that space. So I would like to get really down to the nitty gritty here and get cooking with Nicole. And share a delicious recipe with you that I think you'll be very surprised to learn about. And please let us know if you try it at home.
Hey everybody, I'm Nicole. I am the manager of nutrition education and the head chef at Positive Community Kitchen. So if you were to come in and volunteer in the kitchen, you would likely see me in there. And at PCK, one of the things that we talk about a lot is the intention we put into our food. And the most important ingredient that we can possibly put into each and every dish is vitamin L, and L stands for love. So I'm going to build a little bit on what Andre was saying, that when you bring a positive attitude into the kitchen and you're putting that love intention into the food, it really makes a difference. Our clients can feel the love and the nourishment in the food that goes home in their bags every week. We believe at PCK that food is medicine, and everything that we make is a high quality dish with high quality ingredients that have the power to help heal, especially during the time of an illness. But even for our volunteers, we like to encourage our volunteers and everyone who participates at PCK to cook like this at home as well. So one of the favorite things everybody loves is dessert, of course. And So I'm going to show you one of the most popular desserts we have on our menu. So it's called a red velvet cake ball. And in this red velvet cake ball, it's a no-bake recipe. So we're going to use one medium-sized beet, so you can kind of see what a medium-sized beet looks like. And if you have a food processor at home, this is the best way to accomplish this dish. If you don't have one, you can use something like a NutriBullet, I think like a little shake maker. You can even use a coffee grinder. If you chop your food up well enough, that will grind things enough for you. You can use a blender. You could possibly even use a cheese grater for the beets. And then instead of using whole almonds, you could use almond flour. So I'm going to start by, well, I'm not going to do it because we don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm going to show you, you're going to peel the beets. So there's an outer layer on the beets, and you're going to peel that all off and then cut it up into little chunks like this. So I'm going to pop those in the food processor. You've got this sort of beautiful red beet flour in a way. So I'm going to pop that into the bowl here. I'm trying to hurry, so.
You're doing a great job, Nicole. It looks delicious. Can smell it from here.
Okay, and we're going to add, the next thing we're going to add in, if I can get this lid back on. We're going to add in 2 cups of almonds. And I believe that we're going to share the recipe. Is that right, Raul? Do you have that available?
We will share, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we will.
So beets are really, really, really amazing for your health. They are very high in almost all vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. And you might be wondering what an antioxidant is. An antioxidant is something that helps neutralize toxins in your body. So as we go through life, every single day, we're taking in toxins through the air, through the water, through the food that we eat, and antioxidants help neutralize those toxins. So ideally, you want to get as many antioxidants in our system as possible. So now we're going to add in our 2 cups of almonds. Okay, so I've processed this down to a pretty fine powder. And I'm going to pop that into the bowl with the beets. Almonds also have lots of antioxidants in them, but they also are a really good source of a monounsaturated fat. So when we talk about fat, you know, having a good quality fat in your diet is really, really important because it helps satiate you for one thing, and it's what your brain and your heart actually want to run on. So they prefer fat as fuel. So then we're going to add in some coconut. It's just plain unsweetened coconut that's been shredded. And I'm going to just add it to the food processor to get it a little bit more powdery.
I should mention, I know I don't want to interrupt you too much, Nicole, but students that are listening, the SAIL crew, you need to be picking Nicole's brain right now if you have any questions about these vitamins, minerals, and ingredients. She is just an encyclopedia of why this is good, and also why we can substitute these random things like beets into a cake. I've always, you know, there's all kinds of things that kind of come up. If you're ever watching a cooking show and you're like, I just want to interrupt and ask because I don't really know what Rachel Ray's doing over there or whoever you're watching. Now is a super great time to do that because really, really, we've got you. We got you today.
All right, so I've added that coconut into the mixture of the almonds and the beets. So we've got in here a really powerhouse mixture of antioxidants. And then coconut also has antimicrobial properties. So it helps deal with any kind of toxins or any kind of infections and things like that. So coconut's great for that. So then we're going to add in a couple tablespoons of chia seeds. If you haven't heard of chia seeds, they're an amazing tiny little powerhouse of a food. They're full of omega-3 fatty acids. You've got some protein in them. And again, with the antioxidants, we're just adding a ton of antioxidants into this dessert. So we've got this really kind of crumbly powder here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in a little cocoa powder, about a quarter cup of cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is also wonderful, full of polyphenols and flavonoids. It's great for you. Chocolate is not a bad thing, people. Little chocolate's great. And then we're going to bind this all together with some honey. So honey is a sweetener that we often use at Positive Community Kitchen because it's a natural sweetener. It comes, nature is smart. When we use refined sugar, we are using something that's very processed and taken all of the vitamins and minerals out of it. When we use something like honey, we're getting the benefits of what nature intended for us. And so honey has lots of good minerals and vitamins in it. It actually helps you with allergies. Lots going on. My bowl is a little too small here, but that's okay. We'll get it together.
Hey, Nicole, can we substitute honey for refined sugar in all recipes in equal parts?
No. So that's a great question. Because honey is a liquid, you don't always want to substitute it for refined sugar. When I find a recipe that uses refined sugar and I want to substitute it out, I oftentimes will use something like coconut sugar because it's a powder form.
Thanks. Thanks for the question. It looks like a staff name. Another one, Parit. And I apologize for mispronouncing that right now, darling. But thanks for the questions. Keep them rolling. Thanks, Nicole.
I'm getting this all mixed together really as evenly as I can in this tiny bowl that I've chosen. And then the last thing that we're going to add to our mixture here is a little bit of peppermint extract. So I'm going to add in about 1.5 teaspoons of peppermint extract, and it just gives this cake ball a very fun flavor. All right, so I'm putting a little peppermint extract in there. Get that stirred up. So, under normal circumstances, what I would do is I would form these guys into little balls and set them on a sheet pan and put them in the refrigerator to harden up. Since we're on a little bit of a time constraint, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wing it. So I'm making these into little balls. You can see like this. And then I'm going to take a spoon. I'm going to dip this into this mixture here that I've got on the stove. This is called a double boiler. So what I have on the bottom here is just water in a pot. And I've put a bowl with 2 cups of chocolate chips and about 1/4 cup of coconut oil. So what's going to happen is when this hardens, that coconut oil is going to make a nice shell for the outer layer of our cake ball. Get that in. Place this on the sheet pan like so. And then when this hardens, you'll be able to pick it up like a bonbon. And that is the recipe, folks.
That's awesome. Well done, Nicole. We had a couple other questions sneak in, and I might just fire them at you real quick. There was one that says, can you make a cake of beets? I do imagine that, yes, we could turn this into a cake.
Yes, I mean, you could probably grind this down a little finer and then add some eggs to it I don't, with baking, you have to be a little bit precise, so I can't guarantee that that's going to turn out for you. But we do make a cake at the PCK kitchen often that we call a heartbeat cake. And so we will puree beets, so we'll boil them down first, and then we'll puree them, and then add them to a mixture of cocoa powder and some brown rice, sprouted brown rice flour, and some eggs and things like that, and that makes a beautiful cake. Beets really infuse a lot of moisture into cakes, and you really can't taste the beet in there, so it's kind of a cool way to get some beet into your life without having to taste the beet flavor if you don't like beets.
Awesome. How about when you get different, it says, what about different consistencies in sugar and flour? This Sierra maybe says, I always have a hard time figuring out how to replace normal bleach flour with almond flour because it's usually so much more coarse and often more moist.
Right. So almond flour comes in different varieties. There's almond meal, which is much more coarse, but you can also buy almond flour in a very fine ground, and that actually works pretty well substitute-wise. But again, you're going to want to look for a recipe that specifically calls for almond flour, but because with baking, things are more precise. And so just switching out regular white flour for almond flour is not always going to work out for you. So look on the internet for recipes that call for almond flour.
Awesome. It looks like, thank you. There's a question here about the protein content. Thoughts on that in a recipe like this?
Right. So protein is, there is some protein in this. The almonds have some protein. The coconut actually has some protein. And the chia seeds have some protein. So it's not a complete protein because you need all 22 essential amino, or all 22 amino acids to make a complete protein. And they don't have all 22 of them, but you do get partials here. Really the only way to get complete protein is through meat. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's got some protein in it. So it's a nice, if you're having this as a snack, it's definitely going to boost your energy a lot more than something like potato chips.
Yeah. Very good. I think there's been a couple other questions about, you know, are there other veggies that we can sneak into cakes that make good cakes?
Yeah, well, need zucchini in there for zucchini bread. It's always really delicious. Let's see what else. Carrot cake, always really good. What else? Oh, squashes work really nice in cake, like winter squashes or sweet potatoes. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I wouldn't put broccoli in a cake, but yeah, there's some of the like denser tube root vegetables work pretty well in cakes.
Someone's suggesting kale and spinach as a possibility.
I've never tried kale in a cake. I gotta be honest.
Would love your recipe, Azur.
We'll try it.
Yeah. And chocolate things, maybe that's how that's reading out. So yeah, so wow, we've got just such a sharp crew here. I really love these questions that are rolling in, all kinds of different layers of inquiry, which is great. We will definitely be sharing the recipe. Something that is always a challenge for us as an organization is scaling our recipe to be household size for you. We cook each week for about 100 people, which means our recipe to date will make you 100 plus cake balls, which plays nicely. But you probably don't have room for them in your dorm, or, you know, yeah, I guess not the worst problem, 100 cake balls. Yeah, thanks, Meg. So it's, you know, it is what it is, but we will definitely have that available to you. And of course, we have a website. It's positivecommunitykitchen.org. You can always check that out for new recipes and kind of some inspiration for your season of cooking.
One thing I wanted to throw out there was, first of all, this particular recipe in the form it's in right now will probably get you about 30 to 40 cake balls. So I did scale this one down just a hair.
Oh, fabulous.
And then the thing I wanted to bring up was, you know, oftentimes when kids come to our kitchen first, they think, oh my gosh, I know nothing about cooking. And, you know, I'm scared to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I noticed Callie was on the call, and
Yeah.
I wanted to ask her how she felt when she first came to PCK and if she had nerves around cooking.
You were just such a
Oh
rep.
yeah.
We caught you, Mister, and we're like, I was like, you got to sneak in after Nicole. That was so great. Nice job.
Hi, I'm Callie. I'm the Youth Leadership or YLC director, and I've been at PCK for I think maybe almost 3 years, something like that. But I'm sorry if you hear yelling. That's my little cousin. I'm sorry. But yeah, when I got there initially, of course I had like nerves of judgment because I never really done. I was a freshman. I go to South Eugene, and I had never really sort of like done any community service at all. And so when I got there, I'm also very clumsy. It's just something that you kind of like, it's just something that I don't know, I am. And I was very nervous of like messing up and all that stuff. And I think just being there, what has surprised me the most and what has sort of helped me get over that fear is just the support system that PCK has become. It's not just become one of the jobs sort of that Meg was explaining before. It wasn't just sort of like a thing that I had to do in order to get hours. It started becoming like a thing I wanted to do and sort of becoming like a little family. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I know I have to keep it short, but yeah.
Well done. Well said.
Oh, thank you. I just want to reiterate, like, we don't, you know, you could come to the kitchen with zero cooking skills whatsoever, and we'll teach you. That's what we are teaching kitchen, so, yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. Well, I think we were really nervous that we would be really long-winded sail team and use up all of your time. So we rushed a lot, but I guess we'd love to know if you have any other questions of us. That certainly concludes our sharing today. I hear that somebody wanted to know if the kitchen's open. It is open. We cook just 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday from 10 to 6. And then we do dishes on Friday. And our food is delivered out into the community on Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning. And it's a year-round opportunity. So those of you that are out of town, that are venturing back into Eugene for school, or maybe we'll be here over breaks, please join us. Come on by. We're there, like I said, year-round. So when your school's closed, we're still cooking. It's a great place to find a snack. It's a great place to find some community and to do some service maybe on your days off during breaks especially. Yeah, so I think that might have kind of summed up most of the questions that I saw that came through. Did anybody see any more that I missed on that one? And I just want to say that Sail Crew, you guys have been fantastic, and we're so honored to be here today. It really is a pleasure to be able to meet some community members that are interested in doing amazing things in the world, and they're interested in learning about it through our work, which has become our norm, and we're really, really happy about. And I think it's always inspiring to us, and it just kind of refuels the people that are doing this every day to be able to speak about it. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to do that. It looks like there's a question about finding ways, finding service organizations like this to volunteer in other areas. That's a great question. We are actually part of a network that is worldwide. So there are about 9 other organizations like ours around the world, several in California, one in Illinois, one in Tennessee, one in Connecticut, one in Denmark, and one in Michigan, as far as I'm aware right now. Just like this one, exactly like this one, in all those different places. So if you happen to, well, you guys are all Oregon people, But if you happen to be vacationing or something, or you've got family somewhere, or your college career takes you into those other places, we'd be happy to connect you to other organizations in those places like ours. There's definitely not enough, right? There's this need everywhere. So if you're in a community where it doesn't exist, let's get it started. Let's work on that. And I think that there's certainly, in the Eugene area, we are very fortunate to have Food for Lane County right here in our neck of the woods. There are similar organizations like that in most communities that have a program called Meals on Wheels, which is another food delivery opportunity, maybe a little bit different style in its service. But I think if you are interested in finding volunteering in other areas, I think that a fantastic place to start usually is through the United Way. That's a place that showcases different organizations and often facilitates connection for volunteers and those places too. And then I think I wouldn't be surprised if the university also had their own version of this. Maybe I don't know, Laura, do you know if there's something like that exists within the system outside of Eugene?
Well, Megan, this is such a great transition because we are actually going to talk about some other opportunities. But before we jump in and do that, I have to say this dessert, I snuck in the kitchen and it was amazing. So I wish I could bring everyone one of these. I don't taste the beets at all. So wow, so good. Positive Community Kitchen, you are amazing. We thank you so much for being with us today. This was a really, really enlightening for us. And I know Raul and Josie have some other, we can transition to sharing some other opportunities, but we'll have some students I know coming to Positive Community Kitchen. So thank you all very, very much for being with us. Woo!
Happy cooking, everybody. Happy cooking.
Happy cooking. Thank you, Raul.
Yeah, that was awesome to get the inside scoop on how a agency works. And next, I'll introduce Josie, and she will jump us into this next subject.
Hi, everybody. So now we have a presentation from Raul and I and some of the staff and other counselors that you have met and spent time with this week. And we're going to be telling you a little bit more about community service, why you should serve your community, how to get involved with doing so. And then we're also going to tell you about some agencies in Lane County that you can get involved in. Go ahead to the next slide, Raul. So first things first, why should you volunteer? First and foremost, volunteering can give you a great experience for future employment. This is 100% a great reason to get involved with community service, because in the future, when you are, turning in your resume to future employers, you can list all of these experiences that you've had, whether it was with cooking or organizational skills, people skills. These are all really great things that employers are totally looking for. You can also make connections with agencies and people in the community. So you never know that if you are at, for example, Positive Community Kitchen and you're helping out there, you might meet someone who can help you make a connection with someone else or help make a connection with a future job opportunity, scholarship opportunity. Really, the possibilities are endless. Volunteering in your community can also reduce stress levels. Volunteering may enhance your network to buffer stress. This actually surprised me when I learned it. You also can experience a sense of meaning and appreciation for what you have, which can have a stress reducing effect. And it also feels really nice to see how you can bring about change in your community. These last two also kind of go together. First, scholarship providers and colleges are looking for community-driven students that stand out against other applicants. So if you end up volunteering at a lot of different places or a few places for a long time or very often, this will 100% make you stand out against other applicants at certain colleges. So these colleges will see your application, see all of the things that you have done and participated in your community, and that might give you an even greater chance of getting certain scholarships. Also on that note, there are even some community service agencies that offer specific scholarships for being a volunteer there. I have received one of those scholarships myself. And also students who volunteer have a 27% higher chance of finding employment after graduation than students who do not.
And this is me. Hi, everyone. Like I said, my name's Raul. I'm going to be cognizant of time, so I will touch on ways to get involved and some of the important ones, but always know that this slide will be shared with you all, and you all can reference it and pick through it. So number one, research the cause or issues that are important to you. So yeah, that really helps you out when you're picking a site, that you're picking something that's in alignment to like what you care about, and it really makes your time at a community service agency really more meaningful. Consider what you have to offer. If you love kind of like the outdoors and you kind of have some skills in outdoor knowledge, you can definitely kind of alter your search for community service with like forest projects. And yeah, so really cater to what it is that you have strengths in. Think outside the box. I think right now, especially, there are a lot, because of COVID-19, a lot of opportunities to volunteer online, and agencies are needing people to do stuff online. So you just have to be kind of researching these things, looking out for like places that you never thought would receive volunteers, and checking out their volunteer page. So yeah, I think it is very crucial if you check out agencies' volunteer pages. Next slide. I think you all can look at this one later. Next slide. Take the opportunity to learn something new. So yeah, kind of don't put yourself in a bubble. I know earlier I said kind of cater to your needs, but if you're kind of a little bit like me, in high school, I didn't really know which were like my biggest strengths. And so I did a ton of volunteer opportunity. I would go out to like forest and do kind of like forest cleanup. And then I also did like youth programs. I volunteered at like the Boys and Girls Club. And yeah, so I learned a lot of different things at different sites. And then find a volunteer activity that fits your schedule. This is really important for you all as students. Like you cannot be volunteering at like 1 p.m. like on a school day. So definitely look and kind of cater to your needs. So if you do sports, probably weekdays aren't going to be good. So look for a weekend volunteer opportunity. Next slide. Volunteering with friends and family can be a really great experience, and it really makes like the time fly by really fast. Especially if for meeting new people. If you're a little bit more shy or nervous, going with someone could definitely ease that stress. Again, volunteer virtually, and then don't give up. So if you find a place that you thought you were going to really enjoy, but then you get there and then you find that it's not a good fit, that doesn't mean you can't talk to the coordinator and ask maybe if you can get a different job, or you can get some different experience. And then there's many agencies out there that would love to have volunteers. So if it doesn't fit, you can always move on. And then we are going to talk about places to volunteer. So we are really familiar with Lane County. And so we picked a variety of different agencies that are in Lane County, but a lot of these have counterparts in like most major cities. So the first one we have, we also wanted to share, each presenter is going to share their most memorable volunteer experience. And mine was definitely at the Boys and Girls Club. I definitely grew to understand more the importance of volunteering there, because it really was like the kind of stuff that I like to do. And I really enjoyed it, and it didn't feel like volunteer work, and so I loved it. So Food for Lane County is a private nonprofit food bank dedicated to reducing hunger by engaging our community to create access to food. Food for Lane County reaches families and individuals through food distribution programs and nutritional programs. So they're a great agency that are helping feed people and helping people learn how to feed their bodies healthy. So yeah, if you want to get involved, down here is a link. This slideshow will be available to you. So up next, we have Anjali and the Green Hill Humane Society.
Thanks, Rule. Again, my name is Anjali. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a sophomore at UO majoring in political science and ethnic studies. My most memorable volunteer experience was definitely with UNICEF USA. I care a lot about reducing inequality and completely eradicating it. So I decided to start my high school's UNICEF club, and we held a bunch of cool fundraisers and advocacy events. And I was later selected for their national council, which was just a really meaningful and awesome experience. Okay, so now I am going to get into the Green Hill Humane Society. The Green Hill Humane Society is in West Eugene, and it provides safe shelter for animals in transition. And its volunteers serve as advocates for animals and their people, and it works to end animal overpopulation and educate the public about compassion and responsibility towards all animals. You can get involved by checking out their website. There are a couple of requirements. You have to be 16, and I think there might be some others, but you can go ahead and look at their website for that. I am going to pass it over now to Kasanet.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kasanet. Pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a psychology major at the UO, and I'm a senior. And my biggest volunteer experience was definitely for years, I served as a youth leader for my East African community here in Portland, where, you know, I helped teach dances, I helped with tutoring, history lessons about our country, and just a whole lot more. And it was like one of the most rewarding experiences ever. And so today I want to talk a little bit about Teen Court over in Lane County. So make a difference in your community through service in the Eugene Teen Court. As a court member, you will gain experience in decision-making, communication, law, and ethics. You will give accountable youth an opportunity to take responsibility for their actions through this diversion program. Help your fellow students, your community, and yourself do this important volunteer service. So if you want to know anything about the court system, this is an amazing opportunity. And they are actually doing hearings virtually on Zoom, so you could get connected right away. And next, we will hear from Juanita about the First Christian Church.
Okay, perfect. Hi guys, my name is Juanita. I am a global studies and Spanish double major. I will be talking, so my most memorable experience of volunteering was actually with Food for Lane County. I was involved in the club, and we would always go do it on Thursday evenings around 7. And it was just such a great way to help the community. We would sort out food and then get to know Food for Lane County staff. And I think, like I said, I think it was such a great way to give back to my community. You know, and it was like an hour long, so it wasn't something that, you know, felt like it was a whole lot. So I really enjoyed that. So a little about First Christian Church. It's located in downtown Eugene, and it serves a homeless community around the area. They offer opportunities for those in need to receive clothing, food, shelter, support, and guidance. There is no religious requirement for volunteers or people accessing services. Get involved. Volunteer opportunities range from feeding the homeless at community breakfast to organizing blankets and clothing for homeless guests at the Helping Hand Room or Egan Warming Center. And then next, we will go ahead and I believe it's Angela.
Yeah, hi, my name is Angela. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a human physiology major going to UVO, and my favorite volunteer experience has actually been with the Red Cross. I helped to install fire and smoke alarms throughout the Lane County area, and it's just really rewarding, and you know that you're helping to create safer environments for families and everyone in your community. So to get involved, you can help host blood drives. Right now there's a huge need, again, you can install fire alarms, fundraise for disaster reliefs, support our service to armed services, and also just be creative. The Red Cross is an awesome organization that loves people in the community come and get involved. So if you have a Red Cross club at your school already, or you could start one, that's a great opportunity to bring a great organization. They already have a large infrastructure into your school to be able to provide more volunteer opportunities for your students. And next to present will be Angel with the Burrito Brigade.
Thank you, Angela. Hey guys, my name is Angel. My pronouns are he, him, his. I just finished my first year. I'm going on to my second year at U of O. My major as of now is Family and Human Services. And during my high school years, I did a lot of community service, but I think the one that will stay with me the most is a program that my high school team started. It's called Foot Care. So we actually went into low-income areas in kind of near Bend and other small towns around that, and donated soccer equipment, and just kind of had like a day where we would go out and play and kind of do fun activities with the younger kids and just have fun with them. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about Burrito Brigade. So what it is about, it's a volunteer-run business that can always use a few more helping hands. There are 2 volunteer activities each week. So Saturdays and Sundays for making and distributing burritos. And meals are distributed to hungry people in Eugene and the Springfield area. And I know that Burrito Brigade actually expanded into Portland area as well. So slowly they are helping feed the needy. And yeah, that'll be everything. Thank you.
Awesome. And lastly, here are some other community service opportunities that we didn't have enough time to get through the same way that we did the other ones. But these are great places to also get involved. So United Way, Megan introduced it, but it's a great way to kind of connect you and match up your not your needs, your interests to volunteer opportunities. Elevate Lane County, which isn't so much volunteering, but it does give you job shadow experience and internships for students of your age. This one, again, is only available in Lane County. United Way usually has chapters in different cities. And then St. Vincent de Paul is a great way they're doing a lot of stuff and they need a lot of help in different areas. And so there is a lot of need for volunteers there as well. And that concludes, I'm sorry, we don't have time for questions, but this concludes our community service event. So please, if you have questions, know that you can always email us at salesstaff@uoregon.edu. If we have another lunch break, we will all be available through there if you have questions, and we would love to kind of help you find a right community service